Right now, let's talk about a final topic in this hour before we go hand over to Kev and Alex. Congestion in London, our capital city, is now worse than when the ultra-low emission zone, that famous ULEZ zone, was launched 5 years ago, rather undermining the benefits of the Clean Air Scheme. New figures showed that the daily average congestion level in the capital was 45% last year. That's up from 37% in 2019, when the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, launched the scheme. Of course, we were told it would not only improve our air quality, it had already been going up and it was fine anyway, and we're told that the latest expansion to a wider zone, the whole of the M25 area, would improve our air. Again, not an issue, but also that it would cut congestion. I never really understood how it could do both necessarily. Well, let's talk about this with my next guest. He's Leo Murray. He's director of the climate action charity Possible. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Julia.
No, thanks so much. We're told, well, this wasn't about cutting congestion. I remember it was definitely billed at the time as a way of cutting congestion. Charge people to go drive their cars and lorries or whatever into the centre of town, and then they won't do it. I know for a fact I've not driven into town since. It definitely worked on me. It's a massive charge, so I simply don't do it. I'll get a cab instead or use the tube, which is what I was doing mostly anyway. But congestion has actually risen. How is that possible?
Well, it's not a congestion charge. I think that when the ULEZ was first introduced, there was a reduction in traffic because people who were driving non-compliant vehicles stopped doing it. But exactly as expected over time, people have switched those dirty vehicles for slightly cleaner vehicles, and now they're driving those into London. And so as a consequence, that doesn't help with the congestion at all. So what is true is that the ULEZ has improved air quality in London, which was the purpose of the policy.
I don't think there is any proof of that. Air quality in London was already going up and was always very good. Again, there was some idea that we were living in 1950s pea supers. Absolute load of nonsense. The air pollution in London has been massive, and everywhere around the country has been massively improving over the last 100 years, and was already improving before ULEZ, and hasn't improved by a larger amount because of ULEZ. So I don't believe that's a claim that's even viable.
Well, it's a claim which is supported by the medical professional community in London, Julia. Yes, very much so. There's an extremely strong consensus in favour of ULEZ expansion amongst paediatricians in London hospitals. Yes, you could talk to any of those. Mm-hmm. This is a well-documented fact that air quality has been improving in London, and it's been improving.
It was improving before ULEZ.
It doesn't improve by magic, Julia.
It improved because vehicles were getting cleaner anyway.
What has happened since ULEZ was introduced is we have accelerated the process of getting the very...
No, I don't believe the stats do show that. Someone can correct me, but I'm pretty sure there was a study recently, in the last year, which showed that actually it hadn't improved at an increasing rate. So it was just, there was already improving. But the key thing is, look, here's the thing. We live in a city. Well, I live in a city. This is where our studio is right now. And many other people living in other cities around the country and indeed around the world. We expect that if the air isn't as beautiful and pure as when you're living in the middle of a countryside, up a mountain or by the seaside, we accept that it's part of the cost of doing business of living in a city. We also accept that there's going to be a lot of traffic around us. I never understand people being upset about traffic when they're living in a big city. If you want to live somewhere without traffic, go and live in the middle of nowhere. So why do we need to tackle either issue?
There's a few things going on there. So first of all, children that grow up in London are growing up with permanently deficient lung capacity as a consequence of breathing poor quality air while they're lungs.
There is some evidence that some children who live near and go to school near very, very busy main roads are suffering from this, but not the vast majority of children in our city. I mean, that's any one child is one too many.
It's having lifetime effects on children that are growing up here. So that is a reason to worry about it. But it's also resulting in thousands of premature deaths. And that
it's not, again, completely made up nonsense. That's an average amount of time taken off the average person's life over their lifetime. Losing a few hours or a few days or even a few weeks from your lifetime from having the benefits of not just cars and buses and trains, but fridges and electricity and heating and all the other things that make modern life possible. So load of nonsense.
So look, there's two things.
You just spouted a whole load of nonsense.
You don't believe.
I don't believe anything. It's not about belief. I know. There's either a fact or there isn't a fact.
That. Okay, so yes, but academics, the academic community.
I know the academic study you're talking about, and that's not what that's not what the data says.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's categorically not what the data says.
So I understand that you don't believe the
It's not a belief.
World-renowned university.
It's not a belief. No.
Fine.
It's been extrapolated and used by the mayor and other campaigners to pretend that thousands of people are dying because we live in the 21st century. It's a load of abject nonsense. People, as a result of general pollution, not just from cars, but from having electricity, are going to lose a few days or hours off their life.
It's mostly from cars, but it's not just that. It's implicated in all sorts of things. It's implicated in dementia. You know, it's implicated in teenage psychosis. This is like
such a load of nonsense.
So look, but let's just stop talking about air quality for a moment, because I thought you made
We've got a minute left. Go for it.
About traffic. Why do people worry about traffic in cities? If you don't like it, go and live in the countryside. Well, actually, you can visit cities in Europe that have broadly got rid of car traffic in their
no one can get anywhere.
They are much nicer places.
Tiny little places like Amsterdam. We can all cycle across the whole of a massive metropolis like London. Come on. I'll have to leave it there. But Leo Murray, thank you for joining us. Come join us another time. We've got a bit more time. Benedict Spence. I live in a city. Yeah. It's one of the greatest cities on earth. I'm sorry, I would say the greatest. There's going to be traffic. Get over it.
I was going to say, sort of tiny medieval European cities are not really comparable to British cities that grew during the Industrial Revolution, and that's where they came from. Yeah, it's very nice to live in Bologna or wherever it is, and you walk everywhere. But there also aren't that many factories or that many jobs, and not many people are moving to those areas. They tend to be moving away from them, and there's a reason for that.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Benedict Spence. Pleasure to have your company.